The global community is addressing research, investment, and policy towards higher increase of renewable energy in the energy system to tackle environmental threats such as climate change and promote a more equitable, affordable, and clean energy access. After this lecture, you will be able to remember and understand the most important global data about renewable energy in terms of supply, consumption, and technologies for grid integration. Renewable sources accounted for around 14% of final global energy consumption in 2016, with traditional biomass accounting for almost 70%, followed by hydro energy, solar, and wind energy sources. The latter sources are called also modern renewable energy sources, since their penetration in the global energy mix became significant in the 90s. Despite fossil resources account for most of energy supply at global level, the situation changes if we look at the role of renewable energy in electricity generation. Indeed, 2016 was a historical year because a single renewable source, namely solar photovoltaic, showed an installed capacity higher than any other sources. In 2016, the global electricity capacity rose to almost 6,650 gigawatt, with 165 gigawatt of renewables in new additions. And solar photovoltaic accounted for 74 gigawatt of a new installation against 57 gigawatt of coal. 75% of this new capacity was utility scale, and 17% was commercial, and 8% was residential. As a result, renewable electricity generation was 6,012 terawatt-hour in 2016, which is equivalent to 24% of global electricity. This makes the renewable energy the second global source of electricity after fossil fuel. However, renewable sources in final energy consumption were quite limited. For example, in transportation sector, liquid fuel had a limited diffusion, with European Union leading the scene at global level with around 20 billion liters of bioethanol and biodiesel consumed in 2016. As for electric transportation, despite the high potential, is still marginal, with 0.6% of total world electricity used by electric vehicles. In addition, renewables accounted only for 26% of electric vehicle electricity consumption. There is another sector where the penetration of renewable is still slow, and this is the heat generation for both industrial and residential utilization. So far, less than 20% of total heat supply at global level is from renewable energy, and most of this share, around more than 70%, is from bioenergy with thermal solar systems. And the renewable electricity powered heat pumps comes the second in the ranking. According to the scenarios from the International Energy Agency, renewables will share 45% of total electricity production in 2060, with a CO2 intensity changing from 519 gram per kilowatt hour in 2014 to 254 gram per kilowatt hour in 2060. In order to limit the global temperature increase under 2 degrees Celsius, CO2 intensity needs to be approached to zero in 2060, where renewable share increase to 72%. In order to limit the global temperature increase under 1.5 degrees Celsius, all fossil fuels need to be equipped with carbon capture, and renewable energy need to increase at 74%, achieving an average intensity of 10 grams of CO2 per kilowatt hour. Most of 60% on increase of renewable generation comes from variable renewables that reduces load factors of thermal power plants and requires an increase of storage from 88 terawatt hour in 2014 to 900 terawatt hour in 2060. This will require the triple of storage installed capacity with respect of today's level of 159 gigawatt, with most of storage technology comes from the batteries. Storage and other grid integration technologies such as demand-side management, coupled with innovation in market and regulation needed to be investigated to achieve long-term sustainability targets.